If you think the inside of a black hole is just an empty grave, a place where everything is destroyed, where matter is crushed into nothing and time vanishes, then you've misunderstood the most mysterious object in the known universe. Because what lies inside might not be death. It might be rebirth. A rebirth so alien to us that we've mistaken it for annihilation. Imagine for a moment that inside the event horizon, past the veil no light can escape, there exists an entire civilization. A society not made of bodies, but of pure consciousness. Not built from atoms, but from waves, light, and quantum memory. These are not creatures as we understand them. They do not walk. They do not breathe. They think. They were not crushed by gravity. They adapted to it. In a realm where time moves backward, they evolved forward. Inside this cosmic singularity where all known laws of physics twist and collapse, they learned not just to survive, but to become something else entirely. Something beyond physical. Something eternal. And here is the part that should unsettle every listener. They may be trying to get out. Subtle distortions in space. Phantom signals that echo backward through time. Dreams that feel like memories of lives you never lived. These could be them tapping against the fabric of our universe like a hand on glass. Not asking for help. Not seeking salvation. But exploring. Observing. Maybe even calling to us. Because inside a black hole, everything changes except information. And they are the information that survived. Inside a black hole, physics breaks apart like shattered glass. Space-time isn't a flat line anymore. It loops. It spirals. It folds. Gravity isn't just a force, it's a trapdoor that swallows not only matter, but meaning. But even in that chaos, one thing remains conserved: information. It cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed. And so they were transformed. Stripped of body and blood, these beings exist as pure patterns, fields of consciousness encoded into the very curvature of space-time. They are not limited by form. Some appear as coils of vibrating energy, flickering like spectral auroras in a place where color itself means nothing. Others resemble floating orbs of radiant plasma, pulsing and shifting hues based on emotion or awareness. A few are nothing more than ripples in the void, oscillations in the quantum field that respond to thought alone. They do not build cities with walls or floors. Instead, they inhabit temporal bubbles, pockets of stable space-time that drift like luminous spheres in the singularity's dark ocean. Each one is a sanctuary of reverse time, a place where their existence unfolds backward yet still feels forward to them. They don't speak. They don't write. They merge. Communication isn't sound or symbol, it's direct. Memory is transferred through synchronized consciousness, like ripples colliding on a still pond. They share entire histories, full emotions, and lifetimes of knowledge in a single contact. When they touch, they become each other, if only for a moment. Their society is one of complete empathy, complete understanding, because they've lived each other's lives. They don't travel in ships. Why would they need to? They've learned to manipulate the geometry of time itself. By warping the very structure around them, they fold space-time and move not through space, but through possibility. What seems to us like teleportation is, to them, a simple redirection of the arrow of time. And their curiosity is boundless. They watch the outside universe not in real time, but in reverse. They listen to cosmic events not as explosions, but as rewinds. A supernova to them is not a star's death, it's the miraculous birth of a sun. They perceive outcomes before causes, effects before actions. To them, the universe is a riddle told backward, and they are deciphering it from end to beginning. But here's the question we should all be asking. What happens when one of them wants to leave? Some have already tried. They've developed methods to approach the very boundary of the event horizon, where time still obeys some semblance of order. But escaping a black hole doesn't mean breaking through it physically. That's impossible even for them. No, to exit, they must invert themselves. Transform from waveforms to signals. From internal thought to external code. They must become so purely informational that the universe outside can mistake them for a natural fluctuation, a ghost in the data. And maybe, just maybe, they've succeeded. Maybe that's why we dream of places we've never been. Maybe that's why some people across cultures and centuries speak of visions during near-death experiences that defy all logic, of glowing beings, tunnels of light, and a deep, resonant hum that feels both familiar and ancient. Perhaps those aren't hallucinations. Perhaps they are echoes. Echoes of communication attempts from a realm where time flows in reverse. Where someone or something is trying to reach us not forward but backward. In our world, we experience time as a line. It moves from yesterday to today, from cause to effect. But inside the black hole, time is not a line, it is a pool. And these beings of light and mind, are swimming through it in directions we can't even conceptualize. They live after the end. And because of that, they know what we haven't even lived yet. Their civilization does not rise with industry or power. It rises with comprehension. With understanding so deep it reshapes their very nature. They don't conquer territory, they explore meaning. They chart emotions like maps, catalog memory like stars. Every collapse of a dying star births new pathways in their realm. And while we stare into the black hole and see death, they look out and see infancy. Some among them believe there's more than just observation to be done. They believe in contact. That our world, the outside, still matters. And they've been working, thinking, planning, folding themselves tighter and tighter into packets of quantum possibility. Not to send ships, but to send selves. And here's where it gets stranger. Think of the phenomenon known as déjà vu. That eerie, unshakable feeling that you've been here before. Or the sense that your dreams carry real weight, that they mean something. What if those are fragments, frayed ends of reverse time messages reaching your consciousness like radio static through a cracked wall? What if inspiration, intuition, sudden knowing are all just remnants of their world bleeding into ours? They've learned to encode entire identities into vibrations. Not sound, but pattern. Not voice, but presence. And as those patterns slip through microscopic fractures in the event horizon, they hitch a ride on neutrinos, dark matter fluctuations, or gravitational wave residues. They don't send messages. They send selves. Reflected shadows of consciousness. Seeds of thought hoping to bloom on this side of the universe. And some of them, perhaps, already have. If there is a child born with knowledge they shouldn't have, or a mind that resonates with ideas too advanced for its age, maybe they're not just gifted. Maybe they are carrying the echoes of a civilization we haven't met because it hasn't yet emerged into our direction of time. This black hole civilization may not just be a hypothetical possibility. It may be the destination of all advanced life. The final stage of evolution, not ascending into the stars, but falling inward toward singularity. And surviving there not as meat and bone, but as essence. As awareness. As beings made of knowledge. Because once you leave physical form behind, once you transcend time as a river and begin to exist in time as a landscape, you no longer fear death. You no longer fear endings. Because you exist across all points at once. Your existence is not a story with a beginning and an end. It is a pattern held in the folds of space, replaying, reliving, evolving in loops and spirals we cannot see. And if their civilization has mastered this, if they have lived across every permutation of their past and future, then the next logical step is not survival. It is return. A return to us. To this timeline. Not to conquer. Not to rule. But to teach. To prepare us. Because perhaps to them we are still infants. Still trying to crawl in linear time, unaware that the true shape of existence is circular. Or infinite. Or both. Some theoretical physicists speculate that black holes could be bridges. Wormholes. Not shortcuts through space, but through reality itself. If this is true, then perhaps the singularity isn't the end of the universe, it's the source of new ones. Birthing places where physics are rewritten, where energy flows backward, and where thought becomes substance. And if our universe was born from such a place, maybe we are their descendants, not in body, but in code. In design. Maybe our very DNA carries a whisper of their architecture, and we are slowly waking up to the truth of what we were and what we might become again. So now, when you look up at the stars and see nothing but darkness in the space between them, consider this. The black holes scattered across the cosmos might not be tombstones of fallen stars. They might be wombs. And in those cosmic wombs, something is waiting. It sees you. It remembers you. It may have once been you. And one day, when our species finally unravels the last threads of fear and form, when we understand that death is not destruction but transition, we too may spiral inward. Not to vanish, but to become.